Okay, here's the video lesson 10.1, number 2 of 2, and there's 3 boxes for us to talk about. The topic here is identifying pairs of angles. So first of all, we have to talk about what is a transversal. So the definition for us that we're going to be working with is a line that intersects two or more coplanar lines at different points. All right, so transversal is a line that intersects two or more coplanar lines at different points. So here's an example over here in my diagram here. So here's line M and here's line N. So first you should note that M and N are coplanar because they're in the same plane. The transversal is going to be line T because it intersects them in different points. So it intersects line M there and intersects line N down there. Therefore, that right there is my transversal. So we really got to get good at understanding this picture right here. That's what a transversal is, and that's everything we need for box number 1. Okay, in box number 2, there are lots of different answers that we can use. So I'm going to highlight a bunch of different answers for you, but only put 2 sort of on the page. You'll see what I mean by this, okay? So there are 4 types of angles that are formed by transversals. So notice that the picture is the same, right? This picture is the same in all 4. It's the exact same picture. So we have line M, we have line N, and we have a transversal T. And that's the same for all the pictures. So corresponding angles are angles that correspond to locations relative to the transversal. So let me give you an example, okay? So if I look at this picture here, let me zoom in for you. If I call that angle 1, notice that it is, if I just look at here, it's sort of like, I call it the top right. It's the top end to the right. Well, if I look at this line down here, where is the top right? Well, it would have to be right here. That would be, I'll call that angle 2. So 1 and 2 are called corresponding angles because they're in the same location, pretty much, of where the other line and transversal correspond to it. I know it's kind of hard to see, but there's a couple others we could do too. I could say this angle here and this angle here are both kind of like in the top left. So those will also be corresponding. This angle here, bottom left, and this angle here is also corresponding. Bottom right over here and bottom right over here, those are also corresponding angles. So there's lots of different options, but I just wanted to give you one example. But notice that there are more of them, okay? That's what corresponding means. Okay, alternate and interior. So again, relative to our transversal, we want to be on opposite sides of the transversal and inside the lines of M and N. So an example of this for you in the same color would be here. If I called this guy angle 1 and this one angle 2, notice that they are on opposite sides and on the inside of line M and N. There is another one. I could have said this one here and this one here. Those are also alternate interior. Alternate meaning they are on opposite sides of the transversal. Interior meaning they're on the inside of my parallel lines. So those are alternate interior angles. Okay, alternate exterior angles, just what you think it would be, right? Again, relative to the transversal. Alternate means we want to be on opposite sides of the transversal and we want to be outside of our parallel, of our 2 lines. Sorry, not parallel. So in the same color here for you again. So we'll go red, right? So an example of this would be here. If I named that angle 1, then this one over here would be angle 2. Again, so they're on alternate sides of the transversal and they're on the outside of our 2 lines. There's another pair. I could have done this angle here and this one down here. Those are also alternate exterior angles. So lots of options for you there. Okay. Lastly, there is consecutive interior angles. So let's talk about what consecutive interior angles means. It means that they're next to each other and they're on the inside. Oh, School's out, okay? So, for example, angle 1 and angle 2, consecutive meaning that they are next to each other and they are on the inside of our two lines. So there's that angle in there. There is another pair. I could have also done this side and that side right there. Those are also consecutive interior. So that's kind of a lot to take in there. So let me zoom back out. So these are examples of the 4 different types of angles that are formed when we take a transversal, okay? Okay, here we go. Box number 3, the final one. Lots of different answers here for you. So let's go back to blue. All right, so here's our diagram. Let's name all the pairs that are corresponding, right? So I could have had angle 1. Let's start with angle 1. So angle 1 is going to correspond with angle 5, okay? Because they're like in relative locations. Angle 2 is going to correspond with angle 6. Angle 2 corresponds with angle 6. Angle 3 corresponds with angle 7. Angle 3 corresponds with angle 7. And lastly, angle 4 corresponds with angle 8. Corresponds with angle 8, all right? So those are all the corresponding angles in blue for you, all right? And then I'll erase these so we can start over with a different color. All right, let's go purple. Alternate interior angles. Alternate and interior. Well, remember that this is our transversal, and that's cutting the 2 other lines. So alternate and interior. So they have to be on the outside of the transversal, but on the inside of our lines. So maybe 2 and 7 are alternate interior. So angle 2 and angle 7. They're on alternate sides of the transversal, but inside the 2 parallel lines. There's another option. You could have also said 4 and 5. Angle 4 and angle 5 are also alternate interior. Okay, that's that one. Let me erase this for you now. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, new color, so let's go orange. Alternate exterior. So let's start with angle 1. Okay, so alternate, and on the outside of our lines, it has to be angle 8. So that means I am on the opposite side of my transversal and outside my 2 lines. So 1 and 8, there's another option for you. 3 and 6 are also alternate exteriors. Okay, and then lastly, it says consecutive and interior, so I'll go green. So consecutive interiors, let's start with angle 2. Angle 5 would have to be the one to match up with that. So 2 and 5 are consecutive interior. Another option you could have said would be 4 and 7. Angle 4 and angle 7. So lots of information on this example. Make sure you copy everything down that you need for that one. All right, nice job, guys.